Sometimes one moment changes everything. A single decision, a single sacrifice, a single heartbeat. This is the story of Adrian Matthews, a man who risked his life for a stranger and discovered a love that would challenge the world around him. Adrian was 35 years old, a former Marine now working as an emergency room nurse. It was late at night when he walked out of his shift at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. The city was quiet, but a sudden sound caught his attention. Raised voices echoed from a nearby parking garage. His instincts sharpened instantly. Years in combat zones had taught him to recognize danger before it unfolded. Then came a voice, frightened, desperate. "Please just take my purse. I won't fight you." Adrian hesitated at the entrance, torn between calling the police or stepping in. Common sense said wait, but his Marine code, the one that had kept him alive and pushed him to protect others, wouldn't let him walk away. He moved quietly, blending into the shadows, until the scene came into view. 3 armed men surrounding a young blonde woman in a business suit. She clutched a briefcase, her back pressed against a sleek car as they demanded everything. Adrian's voice cut through the air. "LAPD, drop your weapons." His tone carried authority, enough to make them hesitate. For a brief second, it seemed to work. But then one of the men raised his gun and fired at the fleeing woman. Adrian didn't think, he reacted. The bullet ripped through his shoulder, dropping him to the cold concrete. The attackers fled, but the woman rushed to his side, trembling, panicked. "Oh my God, you're bleeding. Why did you do that?" Adrian clenched his jaw, his training keeping him focused. "Call 911, press on the wound, hard. Don't let me bleed out." She obeyed, her hands shaking as she pressed against the blood. Sirens grew closer, the sound of salvation. Adrian forced himself to look at her face, etched with fear, gratitude, and awe. "What's your name?" She whispered. "Adrian." "Adrian Matthews," he answered, his consciousness slipping. "I'm Catherine. Catherine Sterling. And I will never forget this." He blacked out. When Adrian opened his eyes again, he was back in Cedars-Sinai, but this time as a patient. His shoulder was bandaged, his arm in a sling, and the room overflowed with flowers. "Hero Marine takes bullet for stranger" blared across the news. He was a headline. And Catherine Sterling, billionaire, CEO of Sterling Pharmaceuticals, had been calling every hour to check on him. She came in herself the next day, elegant, composed, a world away from the terrified woman in the garage. "Mr. Matthews," she said gently, "how are you feeling?" Adrian gave a dry smile. "Like I got shot, but alive, thanks to you listening under pressure. Thanks to me." She shook her head. "You took a bullet for me. I should be thanking you." What began as gratitude soon turned into something more. They spoke for hours that day, and then again the next. Catherine arranged to cover all his medical bills and offered compensation for lost work. But she wasn't finished. She looked him in the eye and said, "Adrian, I want to hire you, not as a nurse, as my head of security." Adrian laughed at first. "I'm no bodyguard. I'm a nurse." But Catherine was serious. "I've had professional security before. They protected me because it was their job. You protected me because it was right." "That's different." Adrian thought about it, the pain in his shoulder still fresh. Would he do it again? Yes. Without hesitation, yes. And so, 2 weeks later, Adrian moved into Catherine's Beverly Hills home as her head of security. But it wasn't just about guarding her mansion. Catherine's company was powerful and had powerful enemies. Competitors threatened by her new cancer drug, activists opposing her research, rivals hungry for her downfall. Protection meant more than standing by a door. It meant strategy, intelligence, vigilance. Adrian's Marine instincts were tested in ways even he hadn't expected. But as the days turned into weeks, something else grew between them. Catherine was used to people who wanted her wealth, her status, her power. Adrian wanted none of it. What he wanted was simple: her safety, her well-being. And slowly, that sincerity broke through her walls. She admitted one night, her voice low, "Everyone in my life wants something from me. You're the only one who risked your life before. You even knew my name, Adrian." Met her gaze. "I was ready to die for you that night, Catherine. Not because of who you are, because you were a human being who needed help. What I feel for you has nothing to do with your money." Their bond deepened. Paparazzi caught them together. Tabloids screamed headlines like, "Billionaire's bodyguard." Romance friends warned her that he was after her wealth. Investors doubted her judgment. Rivals like James Parker used their relationship to attack her credibility. But Catherine stood firm. "My business will survive," she told Adrian. "What I can't survive is losing you because of their prejudice." The tests kept coming. Surveillance teams shadowed her every move. Smear campaigns painted Adrian as a fortune hunter. Yet through every storm, their bond only grew stronger. When Adrian suggested keeping their relationship private to protect her reputation, Catherine's reply was firm. "Are you ashamed of us?" "Of course not," he said. "Then don't act like you are." "I won't hide my love because others can't handle it." And that was the turning point. Adrian realized that what began as a moment of instinct in a dark garage had become something unshakable. He wasn't just her protector. He wasn't just her employee. He was her partner in every sense of the word. Love had grown out of blood and sacrifice, out of trust and truth. It defied wealth, status, and prejudice. And it proved one thing. Sometimes, one choice, one bullet, can change the course of two lives forever. So now I ask you, do you believe love can conquer prejudice? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone you care about. Your words and support keep us bringing these stories to life. And remember, love, when it's real, doesn't care about race, money, or status. It only cares about the truth of two hearts willing to fight for each other.